incredible, amazing turnout this is. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring so much. I'm very, very proud to introduce Catherine, who took the day off school to be here. She is going to get us started with our national anthem. Apparently we should have handed out the lyrics across the street. Thank you for being here. My name's Larry O'Connor. I am a radio host on WMAL here in Washington. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here because I am a father, and I am a husband, and I am a resident of Montgomery County, and I'm really pissed off. And clearly, I am not alone. Thank you for being here. We have a lot of people here who want to tell you exactly how important this issue is. And a lot of very, kind of high-profile guests who are here. Of course, Michelle Malkin is going to be speaking leadership for decades on this issue. Fitton of Judicial law. My colleague Vince Colonnese from WMAO. Salem Radio, Dr. Sebastian Morgan. I've been told by the Montgomery County Council and their executive that we are guilty of misinformation. So let me put out some facts. On July 25th, an executive order was signed by Montgomery County Executive Mark Elrich that memorialized a policy that had been in place. At the time of the signing, he said something to the effect of, here in Montgomery County, we handle immigration without drama. Now, with all due respect, not only is he wrong in that Montgomery County should have no business in handling immigration, since that is a federal duty, but we've had a little drama since that signing, to the tune of 8 arrests just since the middle of August. 8 illegal aliens arrested for sexual assault crimes. Many of those crimes, the victims were children. Many of those suspects had actually been in the custody of Montgomery County Police, and they were forced to be released back onto the street because of this policy. But this policy went much further than just saying that Montgomery County PD couldn't cooperate and honor an ICE detainer. It actually kept ICE law enforcement officials from coming into the jail facility. So any apprehensions that they might conduct would have to be done on our streets in a very unsafe environment for them and for our community. It also, I don't think you know this, it actually compelled Montgomery County law enforcement to notify the person that they had arrested that there is a detainer out on them, that ICE actually suspects them of breaking immigration law. They got to give them a heads up. Now, when asked about his policy, Montgomery County Executive Mark Elrich on Vince's show on WMAL said that his hands were tied, he had no choice. Attorney General of Maryland, Brian Frost, said he had to do this. Well, Mr. Frost says that's not true. And his predecessor, Doug Gansler, the former Attorney General, also says that's not true. Further, Mr. Elrich said that he's bound by the Constitution of the United States. Now, as much as I am delighted that the Montgomery County Council is actually reading the Constitution, there is actually a standing Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals decision upholding an ICE detainer as probable cause. And just think about this logically. If you're a police officer, what more probable cause do you need to detain someone in custody than a fellow law enforcement officer saying, hey, hold on to that guy, he broke the law? You will not hear Mr. Elrich say that the Attorney General of Maryland compels him to make this law. He doesn't say that anymore. Shocking. He doesn't talk about the Constitution anymore. No, their latest statement is that we're all liars and we're Nazis. These are your elected officials calling you Nazis. Right up the road here, there is another county called Frederick County. They have a robust policy where they work with ICE. And in the last 5 years, over 1,000 criminals have been taken off the streets in that county. Now, across the street here, they like to call names. They like to call names and they like to distort. They want this to be about a wall. They want this to be about the president. They want this to be about detention facilities and children separation. This is about one simple concept, that we want our police officers to be able to do their job. That's all we're asking. I'm not going to appeal to your emotions like they do across the street. I'm appealing to your mind, to your reason, to your logic. If you are a criminal and you are in this country illegally, and you know that you break the law in Frederick County, you'll be deported. But if you break the law in Montgomery County, you'll be protected. Where are you going to break the law? We have one request. Let's call it a demand. Rescind this ridiculous, illegal, unsafe order and let our cops do their job. Because those criminals who are let back on the street, they will break the law again, and their victims are members of our immigrant community. We care about immigrants in Montgomery County. We care about women in Montgomery County. We care about children in Montgomery County. I'm not sure who they care about. We have a very, very full program ahead of us. And I want to begin with Sharon Bauer. She is the president of Montgomery County Federation of Republican Women. Sharon Bauer.
Got it.
Hello, Montgomery County. My name is Sharon Bauer. I've been a resident of Montgomery County for over 50 years. I'm speaking on behalf of over 400 members of the Montgomery County Federation of Republican Women. This summer, we were saddened to learn that girls and young women in our county were being attacked and raped by men released by county officials. We felt we needed to do something. So we've been writing to Mark Elrich, and we have written to Nancy Navarro and the council. I'm going to read a letter that we sent to Nancy Navarro last Friday after her press release. Does it turn up anymore? We are Montgomery County mothers, grandmothers, professional women, and stay-at-home moms who once again call upon all our county elected officials to focus their efforts on protecting everyone in Montgomery County, including the most vulnerable, young women and girls, especially those in our immigrant communities. Criminals and gang members should not have the opportunity to prey on young girls. What kind of elected officials would choose to give sanctuary to those who commit such acts when they have every opportunity and resource to remove them before they cause permanent devastation? We are outraged and horrified by the 7 rapes in Montgomery County reported in August alone of innocent young women and girls as a letter.
Be on this side over here. Just make sure you're on the sidewalk. That's all. Okay?
Immigrants and refugees are not the enemy. They are us. Welcome the stranger. Help those in need. Stand with the vulnerable and the oppressed. Every great faith and common human decency affirms these values. We do not call for open borders. Those who say we do are wrong. We do not call for tolerance for criminals in our communities, and those who say we do are wrong. We call for our government leaders to use their hearts as well as their power to keep our country safe and strong. We can affirm compassion and the dignity of every human being in our governance as in our lives. Policies that rip families apart, that deny medical treatment, that harm the most vulnerable, children, are cruel, wrong, and must be opposed. Policies that do not distinguish between criminals and contributing valuable and valued members of our communities among the undocumented population are cruel, wrong, and must be opposed. Policies that turn away those fleeing violence, war, abuse, and oppression are cruel, wrong, and must be opposed. The faith community cannot remain silent. We are one human family, and the foundation of all great faiths is clear and immutable. Love your neighbor. Help those in need, the vulnerable, and the oppressed. We stand with immigrants and refugees, and we will work for a Montgomery County that is diverse, inclusive, welcoming, and compassionate. All our great faith and common human decency demand it. You shall love the stranger as yourself.
My husband was 36 years old, and Sandra was 33, and both of them dedicated their life to protecting citizens.
Sorry.
And not a citizen.
Excuse me. Thank you. Excuse me, guys.
This happened on December 8th, 2017. Charles had been in a single vehicle car accident on I-270. Senator Cohen pulled behind him, didn't know who he was. He often pulled behind people to assist them if they had broken down on the road. And so he pulled over, and Sandra and Carlos were waiting for help to arrive when Roberto Garza Palacios, an illegal alien who overstayed his visa since 2009, hit and killed him. Now at the scene, there were no brake marks whatsoever. He was not tested for drugs and alcohol. And on top of that, he received a $280 fine for hitting and killing them. Now, Roberto Garza Palacios, this was not his first accident. This was not his first offense. He had a long history, and this is just a snapshot of his history. I don't have it. He already had on his record 2 DUIs, 2 properties of endangerment of life, property, and person because he drove on a sidewalk. He had possession of cocaine. And he also had taken a metal bar and slammed and destroyed the windows of cars at a Dunkin' Donuts. So this is who we are dealing with. Now, after he was issued his fine for hitting Carlos and Sander, he then was let go. He was wanted by ICE in 2015, and he was wanted by ICE in 2017, but because of Montgomery County sanctuary policies, they said no. So 3 months before the accident, ICE wanted him, and they refused to work with ICE, and so he was let back out on the public, and he was let back out on the road. So had they taken action, Carlos and Sander would have still been here, because Palacios wasn't supposed to be here. On top of that, he was issued a $30,000 bail, which was reduced to $15,000. And that $15,000 bail was paid for by Casa de Maryland. And they also took care of his $280 fine. So thank you, Casa de Maryland, for using taxpayer money to support.
Let's support people on Soros, by the way.
Yes. The reason why we're here today is because our families are going through so much heartbreak, and we don't want the same thing to happen to you. We don't want criminals on the road who are being protected because of our laws. And Carlos and I have 2 children, and so my children don't have their dad. They will never get to see him on this earth again, and he doesn't get to see them grow up. They were 2 and 7 at the time of the accident. My husband's family, they don't have Carlos anymore with them, and they are in deep grief. And so we can only hope that Montgomery County, Maryland will change its laws so that these kinds of things will not happen to any of you. Thank you very much.
It's very simple. Their policy that they're so proud of keeps criminals on the streets, and good, heroic Americans are dead because of it. It's that simple. We want to hear from Arlene Cohen now. You just heard about her. Her son, Sander, a deputy chief fire marshal, also no longer with us because of their policy.
Hey, you guys, because of the Maryland, could you please listen to what I have to say? Casa de Maryland, can I have your attention, please? I'm a second-generation American, and just like you, my grandparents fled their home country for
across persecution. They work every day of the week to support their children. But never did they break windows, rape, or kill people, or defy law enforcement agents. Are you listening? My ancestors came here legally. They became U.S. citizens, and we're grateful to the USA for letting them come here and to be free, like many of you. In 2015, Palacios received a ticket for the same negligent driving charges he received after killing my son and Carlos. He was arrested and fined on 16 counts of malicious destruction of property from a psychotic attack at a construction site where he smashed 16 windows with a metal bar. My grandparents, my parents, myself, and my son, Sandra Cohen, never raped, killed, or smashed 16 windows. Palacios was in Montgomery County Jail following his arrest. ICE put a detainer on him. MoCo released him back into our community without notice to ICE. MoCo officials said the ICE detainer lacked reasonable, probable cause. 2 days
Thank you, I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. Driving charge for killing my son and Carlos.
This guy just goes that way.
Watch your step.
Yeah, I know it's hard.
Of a work visa. That visa expired in 2009. He should have gotten out then. Then my son and Carlos would still be here, perhaps. Palacios appeared before a federal judge and asked for amnesty. In 2018, an organization sympathetic to illegals posted its $15,000 bond. Casa de Maryland, are you hearing this?
Now they'll hear you. Now they'll hear you. Have to. Just keep going.
MoCo released Palacios back into our community once again to commit a lot of crime. On August 13th, Palacios appeared before the same federal judge who denied amnesty and ordered him to leave the United States. So he's on his way back to Guatemala. Casa de Maryland, your budget grew 10 times larger to more than $9.5 million, and government support has grown to more than $4 million. Specific government donations listed in the Casa 217 annual report include, please listen to this, this is going to blow your mind. Endowment for the Arts, Environmental Protection Agency, U.S. Department of Education, U.S. Department of Justice, Department of Labor, City of Baltimore, Montgomery County, City of Falls Church, Fairfax County, and the state of Maryland. Okay.
Stop donating.
Don't forget when you vote, know what the politicians are standing for. Do not just vote Democratic or Republican. Look at the person's record, please, and vote no sanctuary county, no sanctuary city. Thank you so much for coming.
Your son, not just the mom, a hero.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch.
Thank you for coming out, everyone. Sure. Judicial Watch stands with you. The rule of law. We've been battling sanctuary policies in Maryland and Montgomery County for too long. There's in-state tuition for illegal aliens. Taxpayer subsidies to help illegal aliens find illegal work. And most dangerous of all, these outrageous sanctuary policies that allow criminal aliens to prey on the innocent, citizens and non-citizens alike. Judicial Watch just filed a FOIA request with Montgomery County to find out the details about this dangerous sanctuary policy. And yes, we're willing to sue if we don't get the answer. Sanctuary policies make every town with them a border town. A wall will be necessary but will never be sufficient as long as counties like Montgomery County, Washington, D.C., every major city in the country have sanctuary policies that are providing welcome to criminal illegal aliens. I call on the Justice Department to initiate criminal prosecutions of those public officials who aid and abet illegal alien criminals and obstruct justice. You know, I have an old-fashioned approach to the illegal immigration problem. I have an old-fashioned approach to immigration reform. The best immigration reform is enforce the law. We hear the victims of illegal alien criminals today. Taxpayers are also the victims because their tax dollars are being misused for illegal activity by government officials. The policy of Montgomery County is to give ICE a 1-hour heads up when a dangerous illegal alien is about to be released. And if they don't get there in time, they're freed onto the streets. What a terrible position that places not only ICE, but the poor police who are obviously being forced to enforce this dangerous law and put citizens at risk. Support the police, support taxpayers, support, yes, illegal aliens, support your fellow citizens by keeping criminal illegal aliens off the streets. And we're not taking this lying down. Judicial Watch just sued Santa Clara County, California on behalf of taxpayers to stop that sanctuary policy. We have a trial scheduled for early next year against San Francisco Sheriff's Department over San Francisco's sanctuary policy. And we should ask the president to enforce the law, especially here in the capital of the backyard of our nation's capital. If necessary, deploy necessary ICE resources so that 1-hour deadline never lets an illegal alien get away with murder. And I want to thank Larry O'Connor, WMAL, Brad Botwood of Help Save Maryland, who's been doing this work for 10+ years with little thanks. And of course, Michelle Malkin, who has put herself out there on behalf of the American people as well. Judicial Watch never goes away, and we will stand with you, the American people, as you seek to protect yourselves, protect your families, protect your children, and protect your tax dollars from the predations of politicians who put politics above the public safety. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. You know, that was my first opportunity to stand up here and see both crowds. I got to say, not only are we more than twice as large as the crowd across the street, but I mean, I know this is kind of shallow, but you're a hell of a lot better looking too.
Me at Rockville Metro, and they let them free.
Please, Salem radio host Dr. Sebastian Gorka.
Welcome, American patriots. Larry's absolutely right. If I need to go Oh, 2 American flags over there. Well done. They've got 2 American flags. That tells you everything you need to know. So I second Tom Fitton. I second Brad, Larry. These are the people who have been fighting on the forefront, keeping the truth out there. But most of all, that pistol, that freedom fighter, warrior princess, Michelle Malkin. So, let me tell you a little story. I had Michelle on my show yesterday to talk about her new book, Open Borders, Inc. And we posted the interview because it was amazing. She was passionate. She cares for this country, and she's had enough of people in that building protecting rapists. So what do I find today when I get on Twitter? The Los Angeles Times has posted a video of me and Michelle labeling us the racists. So I responded to the LA Times and to the author Matt Pierce. How interesting. I'm an immigrant, a legal immigrant, and she's a woman of color. Who are the racists? Who are the fascists? The fascists are over there. Now, let's be kind. Let's be Christian. Let's say that 5% of them are well-meaning. They're still stuck in Woodstock. Look at them and you understand, okay? They're still at Woodstock. But the rest of them, what do you need to know? It's about one thing and one thing only. Power. Power over you. Power over every American. Because if they really cared about minorities, if they really cared about women, if they really cared about children, they wouldn't let illegal alien rapists onto the street. One last story, everything you need to know. I had Dan Crenshaw, the coolest congressman alive today, right? Mr. Icahn. He came on my show and he told me a story. There was a girl from Mexico. She's 18 years old now. She came to his office on Capitol Hill with her story. She was 13 years old when the coyotes promised her paradise, a land of milk and honey in America. So her family paid for her to be smuggled into America at the age of 13. What happened to that girl? As soon as she arrived here, she was locked in a room in New York City and repeatedly raped every single day, thanks to the coyotes. She said to Dan Crenshaw, please help this stop. We have to protect the children. They don't care about the children. We care. It's about power. Let your voice be heard. Listen to Larry, read Judicial Watch, read Michelle's book, and most of all, remember, 2016 was a window to liberty. 2020 is the real battleground.
And listen to Sebastian Gorka on podcast, you know, because he's on at the same time as me. You don't want to listen to this on the podcast. So many of you have been so nice to come up and say hello to me today, and a lot of you have thanked me for organizing this, and I appreciate that, but I didn't organize this. I told you about it, and I am fortunate enough to have so many of you listening to me every day that when I tell you about things, you listen. God bless you. God bless you. But your thanks need to go to this man who has been working so hard on this issue for so long. Brad Botwin helped save Maryland.
Thank you.
only speak after Tom and Sebastian. So please bear with me. All right, well, thank you all for coming down here today. And we need to tell our elected officials that the lawlessness and the crime must end today. That we are wasting our tax dollars on those with no moral or legal right to be in Montgomery County. That has to end. And remember, the rights of citizens always trump the rights of illegal aliens. Let me repeat that. The rights of citizens always trump the rights of illegal aliens. Nearly 15 years ago, we established Help Save Maryland to protest the county funding of day labor centers for illegal workers that matched up illegals with businesses. That was the first partnership between Montgomery County officials and the illegal alien support group Casa Maryland, and their immoral leader Gustavo Torres is across the street protesting us, the citizens. We argued that jobs to people without legal status would be the beginning of a long, slippery slope of attracting and financing illegals in our county. How right we were. The officials soon argued that the day laborers needed to drive to work, so they gave them driver's licenses. Then they decided their anchor baby children needed health clinics in the schools. So every school in Montgomery County has a very expensive health clinic at your expense. Then the illegals, they decided they need to go to college. So we have in-state tuition now for illegal Thank you. Loitering, housing, and parking codes were then ignored.
Back
to the mic.
Can't hear that? To the microphone, okay. Loitering, housing, and parking codes were then ignored in neighborhoods. The MS-13 Hispanic gang members thrived in this lawless environment, and crime, drugs, and prostitution has exploded across Montgomery County. We all know what the problems are in Montgomery County, and we know who is facilitating the crisis. It's the people in the building behind me, our elected officials. Look, I'm not here today as Help Save Maryland. I'm here as a concerned Montgomery County parent and now new grandparent. I'm here because Mark Elrich and his 9 council cronies think that it's okay for wanted illegal alien criminals to rape 11 and 12-year-old girls with impunity from the law. Horrific yet preventable crimes. These heartless so-called leaders allowed the police, if they would allow the police to work with federal ICE agents in removing the illegal creeps before the vile acts, we would be in much better shape. Truly, concerned leaders would have immediately terminated the county's so-called Promoting Community Trust Sanctuary Executive Order, the key cause for the rape carnage going on in our county. Instead, our diverse county leadership offered the Victim Assistance and Sexual Assault Program as the social justice answer for these raped 11 and 12-year-olds. They have destroyed their lives at their fingers. And when the citizens challenge this, as you've heard many times today, we have been called Nazis and xenophobes. Today, when you see our quite rotund county executive wandering the streets of Montgomery County with those elements across the street, arm in arm with gaggles of imported Casa Maryland illegal aliens, and, sorry to say, whacked out Jewish Community Relation Council members, smile and wave to them. Smile and wave to them all, because today they have been all put on notice. The citizens are taking our county back. Thank you, and help save Maryland.
We can't right now.
I'm reminded of the term waking the sleeping giant.
He's the other one. I use whatever mic you tell me. And I should do my show in front of an audience every day. They've begun marching, by the way. I love it when they march. Well, it's really more of a meander. I think their Fitbit said they needed more steps in. And they do. They call you names, don't they? But you know what? It's nothing like the names they've been calling Michelle Malkin for 25 years. They say really horrible, disgusting things about you on social media, don't they?
Yes.
But it is nothing compared to the disgusting things they've said about Michelle Malkin for the past 25 years. They try to shut you up, but it's nothing compared to how they've tried to shut this brave, heroic, courageous, incredible woman up for the past 25 years. And yes, she started when she was 10 years old. It's my privilege and honor to call her friend, and even a bigger privilege and honor to introduce her to you, Michelle Malkin.
Good morning, patriots. Good morning, my fellow unhyphenated, unapologetic Americans. Good morning, Americans who are white, black, yellow, and brown. Good morning, fake media. Train your cameras on these beautiful people and make sure that you do not whitewash the truth. We are the lovers of our country. We do not have 1 ounce of hate in our bones. The hate is over there. Fear-mongering is over there. Yes. I have to tell you, I am so grateful to each and every one of you for making the individual decision to come out here and get off the sidelines and show your support for America. Do you stand for the rule of law? Yes. Do you stand for the Constitution of the United States? Do you stand for borders? Yes. Do you stand for the safety and security of our families? Yes. Our children? Yes. And especially the girls and women who that Montgomery County executive and his elitists and Soros-funded acolytes support. No rape. No rape. No rape. No fear. No fear. MS-13 is not welcome here. Things have gone so loco in MoCo, haven't they? Now, a lot of people have said, well, what are you doing here? As an American, even if I wasn't from Montgomery County, I have every right to be here. Absolutely. The fact is that I was a resident of this county for many years. I bought my first townhome in Germantown, Maryland. Both of my children were born in Olney. I paid taxes here. And at the time I decided to move 11 years ago, I saw the signs coming. And God bless this country. I was privileged enough to be able to get out. But there is no safe space from illegal alien sanctuaries anymore. And that's why I'm here. This is the front lines. This is ground zero in the battle against illegal alien sanctuaries. We have so many incredible of Labor fighting back. Tom Fitton and Judicial Watch. Health State of Maryland, Sebastian Gorka, Larry O'Connor, Vince here from WMAL. These are your voices. You are not alone. And I think it's rather comical that these people think they can drown out my big brown mouth with their... We are the majority, and we are silent no more. And I hope this entire government structure hears you, because they are the public menaces who are threatening the public safety in this county and America. God bless you all.
Sue the council! Sue them! Sue the council!
Follow the money. Find the truth. That is my investigative mantra. That is what drove me to do everything from writing Invasion in 2002. By the way, did you know that's a trigger word now? The I word, I'm not allowed to say it. To accurately describe the condition that has been imposed upon America. Are we a sanctuary nation? No! This is a sovereign nation! These people think sovereign is a trigger word as well. We have to embrace that. And the fact is that it's not just the George Soroses of the world. And look, all of that billions of dollars, and that's all they could turn out? The fact is that we have to hold government officials accountable at every level. And God bless the folks out here that I've met who are running for office. That's what we need. We need to replace those people. Put them on notice. President Trump cannot do this alone. And we need to send a message, especially, this is why I'm here. There is a wall. The only wall that these people support is the wall that they're building between ICE officials and local and county officials and police officers who want to do their job. I want to be here to support the law enforcement officers whose hands have been tied behind their backs. Raise your hand if you took a naturalization oath, if you are a legal immigrant who was naturalized in this country. My parents took that oath to defend the Constitution and laws of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That is the oath we have to take. That's right, exactly right. And I'm proud to stand with you, whether you are native born, whether you are a legal immigrant, a naturalized American. We have to stand together to protect our country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And we need to defund Open Borders, Inc. To save America from destruction, we have to stop our own tax dollars from being used to subsidize the destruction of our country and the endangerment of our people. It is a shame that those people attempted to drown out the angel moms, the angel wives, and the angel families. The smear campaign has to stop. The silencing campaign has to stop. These are the people who oppose women. These are the people who oppose children. These are the people who oppose people of all colors who unite behind America. I want anybody who's taken the oath of office or naturalization. You know what I need you to do? Raise all your flags right now. Raise those signs up. Turn them to the other side. Let them see you and let them signaling, which is what they do on the other side. Repeal the executive order. Kick out the county executive. Run for that you are inspiring people all over this country. God bless you.
Once again, this turnout is incredible. We have jobs. We have lives. We have families. We don't do this for a living. It's so great that you're here for this. And listen, they're not allowed to talk, but I am telling you, the police are on our side on this. They want safe streets. The police know who the bad guys are. Ask yourself something. Why did all of these news reports leak over the last several weeks about these arrests? Where did that information come from? Chinese girl in the ghetto. Her name is Ying Ma, and please listen closely.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Larry. I am here as a legal immigrant. I came here legally when I was 10 years old with my family. And what you find out in that process is that there are a lot of sacrifices you make to come to this country legally. You incur financial costs. You wait in line. You jump through a lot of bureaucratic hoops. I see a sign over there that says defund hate. We are supposedly the haters. Well, let me tell you what we did when we stood in line to come to this country. It took years. Every time my mother came back from the U.S. consulate in our city, if I found her crying in the living room, I knew that our dream to come to the U.S. would have to wait another day. Does that sound like hate to you? No! When we finally came to this country legally, my parents began working in menial jobs. Oftentimes, they worked sub-minimum wage jobs. There were times when they worked 2 jobs at a time. Does that sound like hate to you? No. And so, you can imagine my surprise when I found out that there is a county right here near the nation's capital that says it will not facilitate the federal government's enforcement of immigration laws. That would have been unthinkable at the time when we were applying to come to the United States. There is somehow this very popular notion these days that if you come here illegally, then there is nothing else wrong. You can stay here. You're a model citizen somehow if all you did was violate our country's immigration laws. That is not the case because there are too many of us who have made the sacrifices to come here legally. All of those people who tell you that being illegal in this country is somehow a badge of honor, do not listen to them. They are full of crap. They are also spitting on our experiences. They are spitting on what we've done to pay respect to the country we wanted to adopt, to the country we now love. That is true. But there is something worse than that here in Montgomery County. I don't live Montgomery County. All of those policies need to go. We need to get rid of all of those policies. We need our dignity to be upheld. We need our rule of law to be respected. And thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for having me here today.
Who said this to your kids when your kids came home from school and they said this brat on the playground called me a name? Didn't you say, when they call you names, that means you're right, you're winning, right? They call us Nazis. We're winning. They're losing. This week, County Executive Mark Elrich sat down and had a meeting with ICE, an organization that just weeks ago he likened to terrorists. We are winning, they are losing. This week it was reported that Mr. Elrich and the other members of the council are looking to tweak their policy to improve it a little bit. We are winning, they are losing. When we announced our peaceful gathering today, they assembled this raucous, loud, obnoxious, anti-free speech counter-demonstration, and we are more than double their size. We are winning. They are losing. This is not about party politics. This is not about political ideology. This is not about federal politics and national politics or a presidential election. This is about the safety of our neighborhoods and allowing our police to do the great job that they want to do. We are winning. They are losing. And we will not let up 1 inch. Now, I love you all so much, and I love you because you make what we do at WMAL sing. By participating, by supporting us, by calling in, you are part of what we do. And I love that radio station so much that I have to go. I got to get ready for today's show, and boy, have you given me a lot to talk about. But I have very good news. We have a couple of more speakers, and I am going to hand this off to the very able hands of one Vince Colonnese, co-host of Mornings on the Mall. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. Larry for County Executive.
Hey, how about another round of applause for Larry O'Connor? Larry, excellent work, and not just for here being an MC here, doing such an able job, but bringing awareness to such an important issue. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say, the thing that really switched me onto this is the thing that got all of your attention too. And it's headline after headline after headline about rapes in Montgomery County, Maryland. And each time at the hands of illegal immigrants. Now there's a reason we know about this. There's a reason. Why so many headlines so quickly? It's because the men and women of law enforcement right here in Montgomery County want to make sure these stories get told. And the only reason we know about these stories is thanks to them.
Thank you to our police.
That's right. The rank and file police officers you see around you, Montgomery County Police, are doing the best they can under extraordinary circumstances. Circumstances where you can be fired in Montgomery County if you help immigration enforcement, if you contact ICE, if you ask about immigration status. Mark Elrich's policy codified what Ike Leggett put into place a long time ago and what Montgomery County's been pushing for a very long time, which is to make this area a sanctuary county. And when we see, after July 25th, when that first story came out of that poor 11-year-old girl, raped multiple times over multiple months by 2 men, that began a chain of stories that caught all of our hearts.
Now, who is that girl? Well, she's a victim. And all signs point to the fact that she is an immigrant. And most of these victims, in fact, maybe even all of the victims over the course of the past month, have been immigrants. Who are you fighting to protect here? Immigrants. So when you see signs across the street that tell you they're for the immigrants and you guys aren't, boy, is that a bunch of horse hockey. You're fighting for immigrants here. It's so simple. I'm really proud to be in front of you, and I'm very grateful for all of you who listen to WMAL, and we're going to keep on top of this story, because as a journalist, my instinct is the truth needs to be out there, and we need to keep hammering that, and I'm going to do that every single day alongside the great thing we have here. All right, now, and I have the pleasure of picking up the baton for Larry here. Let me introduce now Sherry Rendell, the Director of State and Local Engagement for the Federation of American Immigration Reform. They obviously are very on top of this issue. Sherry, good morning.
Yes. All right, Sherry.
Thanks so much. You all, I want to say I get up every day and go to Washington, D.C. and fight for the rule of law for those angel families every day, for our law enforcement, and for all of you, because all of you inspire and encourage us. We couldn't do it without you. We couldn't do our jobs. Montgomery County Executive Mark Elrich, he insisted that Montgomery County is not a sanctuary city or sanctuary county. I've got news for you, Mr. Eldridge. Montgomery County is a sanctuary, regardless of whether or not you use the word sanctuary. The very fact that Eldridge refuses to notify ICE when you are releasing deportable criminal aliens back onto Montgomery County streets is by definition a sanctuary policy that violates federal law and endangers public safety. It is absolutely no surprise that since the so-called promoting community trust policy was implemented, that this county has seen the spike it has in sex crimes. And we all know about that poor 11-year-old.
Elrich lies! Elrich resigns! 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 Elrich lies! Elrich resigns!
Ironically, he claims he cooperates with federal law enforcement officers. And he highlights his cooperation with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the FBI, and also the DEA. If he cooperates with federal law enforcement, why does he not cooperate with ICE? Does Montgomery County have the right, listen to this, do they have the right to determine which laws they will follow and which ones they want to break? Did you hear that, Mr. Elrich? Montgomery County has an obligation to work with federal immigration officials to enhance our safety. Another Montgomery councilman, Tom Hucker, claimed, and I'm going to read his exact quote, he claimed there is no correlation between the number of so-called undocumented immigrants in a locality and the number of crimes there. He said, if anything, areas that have more undocumented immigrants typically have less crime. Well, Councilman Hucker, you are grossly mistaken, as everyone has just acknowledged. In fact, FAIR found that the skyrocketing crime rate in Montgomery County is directly tied to the massive numbers of illegal aliens as a sanctuary jurisdiction. Analyzing the state criminal alien assistance program data, FAIR found that illegal aliens were at least 3 times as likely to be incarcerated as citizens and those who are here lawfully. Moreover, the crime report that the Montgomery County Police Department released in 2018 stated that MS-13 is responsible for more than 1/3 of the gang-related assaults and weapon charges in this county. The bottom line, MS-13 is coming here because they know it's a sanctuary jurisdiction and they are running rampant. Montgomery County officials, you are to blame. Let's say that again. Montgomery County officials, you're the ones to blame.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Montgomery County officials, we have a clear message for you. Stop aiding and abetting illegal aliens that continue to violate our laws. It is way past time to end the county's illegal crime wave and focus on law-abiding U.S. citizens and legal immigrants. Let's have Montgomery County rescind its sanctuary policy.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you very much, Sherry Rendell. All right, now, here we go. I got Dan McHugh here. He's a blogger who's been tracking the many cases in Montgomery County. He's keeping us all informed. Dan, mic is yours.
Thank you, Vince. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Let's give it up for the people that worked really hard to organize this. People like Brad Botwood and Sharon Bauer and Bill Richford. Thank you guys so much for all the hard work and any name I'm forgetting. I want to take you guys back to how we got here, okay? A little bit of history. I'm big on history. So a day that lives in infamy in this state of Maryland was in October of 2010, when then Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley declared this state open for business when it came to illegal immigration. He called undocumented immigrants in this state the new Americans. And after he defeated Bob Ehrlich in 2010, he rolled up his sleeves and he went to work to make that dream a reality. First thing he did, him and the Democrats in the legislature in Annapolis got a DREAM Act passed. What does that do? It gives in-state college tuition to undocumented immigrants. And then he didn't stop there. Oh no. Then him and the Democrats in the legislature signed and he passed and he signed a law to give them driver's licenses in 2013. So there's your big sanctuary policies that the state of Maryland has in place. And then our wonderful former county executive, Isaiah Leggett, who now is on the Board of Regents at University of Maryland. Go figure that one out. Put in a policy that restricted the Montgomery County Police Department from complying with ICE detain requests. October 5th, 2014, a day that'll live in infamy here in Montgomery County. That's where things really got bad. Almost 5 years to the day. Next month in October will be the 5-year anniversary of that policy. And what's happened over the time? county council and said, oh my goodness, we need money. And we had 1,600 unaccompanied minors put in our schools from 2014 to 2015. So then what did they do? They increased our property taxes by 8.7%. They increased the recordation real estate transfer tax by 30%. An emergency tax increase, the county council said in 2016. While at the same time, MCPS was asking for more of our tax money, they were working on rolling out a new curriculum to water down the curriculum. They got rid of final exams in high school, and they implemented a new grading system to make it easier to pass. Why did they do this? Because of the demographic shifts in MCPS. 30% now Hispanic, the highest demographic of any demographic in the schools. And so what's the big payoff for all of this? With higher taxes, lower educational standards in our schools. Well, we found out last week in the Bethesda Beat, just last Thursday, that over 50% of the Montgomery County public school dropouts are Hispanic or Latino descent. So there you go, people. That's your tax dollars at work here. Aren't we glad we made all these accommodations, bent over backwards for the schools, only for these kids to drop out? That's ripping the taxpayers off, and people should be outraged about this. There's no doubt. County Executive Elrich's executive order is putting politics over basic public safety, and public safety in Montgomery County has gotten worse since October of 2014. In 2017, in October of 2017, we had to divert nearly $1 million in the police department to form a special gang task force unit to deal with the increase of gang crime. Also, rapes have been up in Montgomery County consistently since 2015 to current. So here's what I want you all to do, because we need solutions, folks. We have a horrible, worthless attorney general down in Annapolis named Brian Frost that does not care about any of this. He will not help us. He's part of the same corrupt Montgomery County Democrat machine that got him elected. Yes. He lives in Bethesda. Yeah, he does. So here's the one person, there's two people that can help. Everybody, go home tonight or this week. Call and write two people. The first one is United States Attorney General William Barr. Attorney General Barr, review this executive order and let's challenge it in the federal courts. And the other is United States President Donald J. Trump. And said, President Trump, we need your help here in Montgomery County. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. All right, we're running short on time. We got Alex Bush here. Alex, here we go. Alexander Bush, Chairman, Montgomery County Republican Party, is right here. That was, yeah. Dan's with Montgomery County 360. Dan McHugh was. All right, Alexander Bush, Chairman, Montgomery County Republican Party.
Thank you all so much for coming out. This event was necessary for one reason only. We needed to show our elected officials here that when we have legitimate concerns, we will not be silenced. When we have legitimate concerns, they don't get to smear us with labels, and then we will run and hide and be silent. I would like to thank the people who have brought attention to this issue and helped organize this event, and I want to thank all of you. Now, why are we here? Why are some people on this side and some, not very many people anymore, on that side?
I'm over here because somebody over there tried to stab me.
So, why is that? Okay, the reason someone can be over here and not over there, it's fairly simple. It's a problem that people of any race, ethnicity, political party can have a problem with. It's when our officials got on the news and got some kudos from their far leftist friends by saying that Montgomery County was the safest place in 3 states to commit crimes if you are here in this country illegally. That is what they announced. And either they didn't know there would be consequences or they didn't care. Either way, they should go. Now, that's the only question. You're over here if you think someone who is charged with rape and who is not in this country legally, that maybe they should be reported to ICE so ICE can come pick them up. That is literally the issue that divides this side of street from that side of the street.
Elrich lies!
On every other policy issue. But if you agree with me on that one issue, this is the side of the street for you.
Yes.
So what did our elected officials do? Well, first they tried to say it wasn't their fault and it wasn't their problem. Now I want to make sure I get the words right. So I'm actually going to stop for a second and look at these notes. Okay, the spokesman for the county said if there was a failure of government, if the system failed, it would have failed on the federal level. This is not the responsibility of local government.
To call them in.
And then they tried to just ignore it because they knew they had no argument that worked. And you all made too much noise for that to work. So congratulate yourself. And then when they knew they couldn't keep us silent, they tried to intimidate all of you. They said that if you were criticizing them for this policy, then you were parroting the talking points of neo-Nazis.
He's right over there!
Mark Elrich is right there. Can you see him back?
Elrich lies! Elrich lies! Elrich lies! Elrich lies! No one lies!
Elrich lies!
Elrich lies! Elrich lies! Elrich lies! Elrich lies! Elrich lies! Elrich lies!
You don't sound very intimidated to me. That's what we needed this event for. We have accomplished step one of many steps.
Standing on the corner being interviewed.
We need to change this county. We need to show that the far leftist agenda does not help the ordinary resident of Montgomery County. And this was step one. They are so crazy that anyone who says maybe a rapist should be deported is a Nazi. That is the absurdity we're fighting, and that is why we can win. Thank you very much.
All right, everybody. I leave you with this. Thank you for caring about your community. Thank you for doing this with love. Thank you for thinking about the right things. Thank you for caring about the safety of your community. That's the right thing. You guys are good people. I'm really glad to know you. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody who was a part of organizing this. Please have a safe Christmas.
I'll talk about my attack real quick. It'll be real fast.
I can't.
What you got a point on next time?
Yeah.
What they do is, I was attacked by a guy over here, an illegal